What's good, YouTube? Some time has definitely passed since I made my last video, and it's because a lot of topics and thoughts that I've been having have been kind of heavy. What is the most important part of our lives? Is it our jobs, our careers, our goals? And how do we discover purpose? Because we are not our jobs. What we do in our life isn't always aligned with what our purpose is. So I decided to talk with a friend and just get through these ideas together. And after hearing him answer the questions I've been asking myself for some time, I realized that the ideas we give such importance to as to what we believe we need to achieve definitely change as we evolve as individuals. And just a heads up, my friend in this video for some reason decided to put on a costume. He might have a lot of ops or something, you know, just people looking for him. I don't know. Either way, this conversation is great, and if the questions I have intrigued you at all, or you have had any similar ideas, give this full video a watch and I'm sure you'll walk away with something of value. How would you describe our culture's idea of success?
You know, it's actually evolved. Back then, success was kind of defined on the nuclear family. Having at least for men, right? Having a job, not a job, but a career, and earning enough for, you know, to provide for your family and your wife, getting married and being a family man, providing for your family and just being well put together. Yeah. And I think a lot of that has, it's eroded over time, I guess. It's a cultural thing now. It's not the status quo.
Giving to others has always been what success is. And I don't believe that ever changes. We work hard to be able to give back and support people we know and love. Since the growth of social media, social status, clout, and social validation has become its own form of value. And we've seen just what depraved and desperate things people have done for some online clout.
The way it developed is it feels like kind of incentivizing building an ego, or growing an ego for yourself. When we look at those kind of individuals that grow to that level of popularity and you know, on one side we're like, oh wow, you know, this is the image of what I want to be. They idolize that and they idealize themselves being that way.
We kind of idolize certain people from a basis of comparison and admiration. We emulate what we see. And not only do we imitate those behaviors, but we also start to adopt what we believe those people would find important because they get so much attention, because they built an audience, because they have all these external marks of success. Then we believe the smart thing to do is to adopt the same beliefs, habits, and behaviors of these successful people. But it's no secret that even rock stars, influencers, athletes, YouTubers, producers, writers, comedians, actors, business owners, entrepreneurs can still, by the end of their accomplishments, feel a lack of fulfillment and are left searching for more.
I think we kind of gravitate towards individuals who can just get whatever they want, whenever they want. All the money they need and then some, or they have all the cars. A fictitious character like Batman.
We're definitely attracted and pulled towards people that have a sense of freedom. They're able to do what they want to do in their life. You could definitely end up looking up to the wrong people.
You know, and I have dipped my toe into that kind of mindset where developing that ego and I wouldn't even call it confidence. I feel more confident now than I did back then when I was emulating what those individuals would be doing.
The younger we are, the easier it is to be influenced by the people around us and the examples we see. Our parents may influence our career paths, and a person fully motivated by wealth may decide to do anything that will make them a lot of money. I remember seeing a friend of mine post on her IG story saying, you know, there's me working a 9-to-5, trying to be a responsible person, only to see other people advertising their OnlyFans accounts and actually making decent money off of it. She started posting these things on her story, and it begs the question how the media we watch, the things we consume, it affects our ideas of success and how it could actually change our own moral character. Do not goon. Don't goon.
That market I feel, was developing for a while. I think pornography, as soon as it started hitting the internet, I don't know about you, but I've grew up with it basically.
Oh, of course.
Just the same way I did with any other kids show.
Yeah.
I grew up with pornography.
Yeah.
I wish I hadn't. It's different from back then because it wasn't readily available to you as much as it is for us.
Matthew 6:22 reads, "The eye is the lamp of the body. If your eyes are healthy, your whole body will be full of light. But if your eyes are unhealthy, your whole body will be full of darkness." There are a lot of people walking around us in darkness. Call me a conspiracy theorist all you want, but the puppeteers of the world benefit when people are unable to find the light inside of themselves.
Me personally, I'm numb to a lot of things now, kind of breaking down those psychological blocks that I feel we got placed upon us unconsciously, dude. Because how is a kid supposed to know what's happening to them when it's happening? I guess. I think my confidence now comes more in applying my actual feelings, my actual thoughts, my actual heart, what I truly want, what actually makes me happy instead of just what sparks that dopamine.
And if we're not careful, we could definitely become slaves to those dopamine hits. And then we end up needing instant gratification to feel anything. Now you'll chase other things in the world that will give you those same dopamine spikes. In the end, you kind of become just a consumer. You'll just become a bot, bro. You'll do the exact same thing with other products. You'll do that with alcohol. You'll do that with drugs. You'll do that with whatever. I have an addictive personality. So I definitely went through a good period of time where corn had me hooked. My times in which I found real healing has been when I've completely surrendered those things to God.
I think it was manufactured to be popular. That kind of mindset to value yourself more.
I think the only way that it changes is by like people itself to change themselves. I think it comes a lot from us, in my opinion.
No, yeah, absolutely.
The reality of life just simply conditions us to be selfish. We are celebrated when we become the superstars of our own movies.
It's our duty to kind of rise above that, especially now that I feel the majority of men understand the tricks that are being played and how we're developing as a society. The fact that you and me, average guys, can see it or feel it means that I think the majority of us are moving in that direction.
So then is just having the conversations like this the solution?
Not just the conversations, because that's one step, but acting upon it, persevering, still being able to love and maintaining that hope. There's a lot of individuals that are positioned in a point where they want to attack that. They want to attack love, because they've been hurt. They want to attack hope because they lost hope.
Forgiving others is very liberating, but it's also one of the most difficult things to do. Forgiving people that have caused your pain, that caused your traumas, can at times feel impossible, but it's the only way to be set free before our own anger and condemnations begin to really affect our lives. There's this word that just kept appearing in my head all year, and that word was idolatry. Placing such high importance on superficial goals kind of became an idol for me. And I think this is something that we all relate to. Chasing artificial things that we believe will bring us joy and happiness and fulfillment, only for it not to. But a lot of times we don't realize that until time has passed by and we've spent all that time chasing those things. Ecclesiastes 1:9. What has been will be again. What has been done will be done again. There is nothing new under the sun. If our hearts aren't in the right place and if we just want to do something great and of importance, simply to feel a sense of belonging because you believe you will find love at the other side of that or find fulfillment and satisfaction, that almost always ends up never being the case.
Idolatry is anything that you give form to that would take from your love of God, your sight of God, anything that would steer you from the path. Something like money, always instead of wanting to be better for God, you want to be better so you can get another dollar. And then you start to sway from the path of being righteous. And instead you want to be better for money. Yeah. And you say, who cares about being righteous? What do I need to get this dollar?
People sell their souls every day. Many times it's subtle. If you spend a majority of your life chasing achievements that fill a void or money for the sake of having it, then your heart is obviously focused on the world's validation. I know this concept very well, and most will come to the conclusion of how meaningless a lot of our pursuits end up becoming.
I guess we have to love God more than anything else, right? More than we love, and that's tough because how are you gonna love something you can't see or touch? But just feel over what we can see and touch, something that gives back and we know it gives back in the physical world.
How do we fall in love with God? When you could see people physically, mentally, and spiritually change, that's one of the most powerful things. God transforms you, man. And the only way that occurs is if you put your pride and ego to the side, which is what the world teaches us to have, right? The only way for you to understand what it means to fully love God is when you surrender yourself to God and have seen how much that changes you. Because then you feel like all you want to do is share that with others. I used to rely heavily on alcohol to regulate my emotions. And now that I don't feel the need to do those things because I've been putting the work into developing my relationship with God, I no longer feel this sense of loneliness that I feel like I need to drink to feel competent to go through my day-to-day life.
I still think a lot of people are turning away. Even when we do see and hear God, we still turn away in fear. A lot of us aren't convinced to give ourselves to that. We are still turning away, but I think a lot of us kind of we hear the conversation. We see the conversation, we feel it, but that might be a step backwards to put us 2 steps ahead, to get us back on track.
The time you feel like you've wasted can actually be turned into time that was being spent to prepare you for a purpose that God may have set forward for you that you haven't really come to know or understand yet. Our mistakes, our pains, our flaws can all be redeemed and used for good when we surrender them.
My goals have kind of shifted since I've kind of grown out of that influence. Success to me is giving back to the world as much as you can. Some people do too much, and they give when they can't give to themselves. And sometimes they do that with intention. They can't give to themselves, so they try to give as much to other people. But I think a balance is a real success to me. Being able to balance that out, and taking care of yourself so that you can take care of other people or your own family.
Family is the most important thing. I pray that whoever's watching this can say that although maybe their family may not be perfect, they can at least say that they have family in their life. The people that make life worth living when you're down, when you're up, is your family and friends. And I believe it's within those communities of our closest friends as well as to our family members where you can find real purpose.
Success to me is also wellness in the mind and with God, and a lot of that does come from God. We have free will. He's given us free will, but the negative thoughts, it's like a weed. He kind of takes it out and say, this is how you take that out. This is how you take that out without damaging all the other, beautiful flowers you have in your mind. This is how you take out the root, those bad thoughts and those bad emotions. When you have that conversation with them, it's like gardening in the heart and soul and the mind.
My final message to whomever receives this: there are people who benefit when you are always a consumer, lost in addiction, when you have zero drive for godly ambitions, and get stuck living a life of loneliness. Find community, find friends, and find God. We need God in our lives now more than ever. The world is getting crazier, and people are just, in my opinion, focusing on the wrong things. Don't conform to how the world wants you to act, behave, and what the world wants you to chase. Pour into your friends, your relationships, and find purpose in spreading love.